There's a brief window before sleep where your brain is wide open. After extreme stress stripped me of my mental clarity, I created this CFI protocol rooted in Dr. Deirdre Barrett's research at Harvard to reclaim my bandwidth. It took only 2 nights for my focus to bounce back. In this session, we're bypassing the noise, talking directly to your hardware. Let's begin. You don't have to do anything at all with what I say tonight. Your deeper mind is already listening, and it knows exactly what to do with my words. For now, just let your eyes close whenever you're ready, allowing the room around you to become less and less important. There's a place the mind goes when it's done with all the busyness, a place that has always been there, waiting for the part of you that finally stopped looking for it. It's the place you find when you decide to just let the day be exactly what it is, unresolved, untethered. Just let the day be what it is. Let it exist, just like the weather exists, or like the sound of distant traffic, a presence that requires nothing from you, moving through the momentum of its own logic. As the day fades, you begin to notice the true weight of your body. Feel the specific pressure of yourself against the surface beneath you. Notice how that surface receives you, yielding yet perfectly secure. Your furniture has been doing this all day, holding you up, and you probably haven't noticed because you've been so busy holding everything else. Right now, your gravity settles. As you enter your body, feel the steadiness of your hands, the temperature of the air against your face, the way your jaw rests, unclenched. There's a small release available there, just below the ears where the jaw connects, a place that holds more tension than it ever gets credit for. You don't have to force it, and as you allow it to release, even slightly, notice the room changing quality. The air fills the space more intentionally with a new openness. The edges of the world soften. There's a door that only opens when you stop trying to turn the handle, and your body already knows exactly where that is. The walls of the room pull back, making space for what's already there. The library, tall, quiet, and reaching further up than the light can follow. Endless shelves, books bound in leather and cloth, some smooth, some worn with age. You can feel, without even touching them, how every shelf holds something. Some thoughts feel important. Some feel urgent. Thoughts your mind kept trying to finish because closure felt like safety. But nothing here is truly urgent now. A table comes into focus ahead of you, its surface worn smooth by the attention of many hands. On it lies one leather-bound book. As you lay your hand upon the cover, feeling its density, the cool leather against your palm. The book has been opened and closed so many times, it's learned how to hold weight without tension. As your hand rests there, you become aware of something you've likely felt for a long time but couldn't quite name. How some things are true but not useful. How some things are allowed but not actually important. You see now, there are things specifically designed to pull at your attention, to use your focus as their favorite fuel. Tonight, that fuel belongs to you. And now, you do something very simple. You begin returning the things that no longer serve you. That thought you don't need to resolve tonight, it finds a place on the shelf. A conversation your body kept replaying on repeat. One that felt like a prayer and a warning at the same time. You feel it evaporate, settling somewhere behind you. A headline, a face, or perhaps just a feeling that arrived this morning without introducing itself. You notice it's already gone. Your hands are simply empty. Maybe that is the first thing you feel, releasing somewhere in your shoulders, your jaw, or that place behind your breastbone that's been holding something you can't quite name. Because the books are still there. They don't need you to keep track of them all. They were never going anywhere. And that pressure, the one that lives between your shoulder blades, that demands urgency, even when there's nowhere to be. You feel it resigning in the library quiet that carries a weight of its own. Your body knows the difference between a real alarm and the echo of one. In this place, you don't have to grip ideas as though they're fragile. You don't have to rehearse them to keep them alive. Anything worth preserving has a shelf. Anything real can always be found again through access, which is a completely different, deeper level of knowing. As thoughts arrive, you simply allow them to flow. Words are necessary as they weave themselves into a record on a page in a book. Some earn a title. Others remain as a blank spine that simply belongs to you, still holding its place, still waiting, without demanding a single thing from you. The deeper mind knows exactly where everything goes. It organizes without effort, the way it's always done when you stop interfering long enough to let it. As you walk along and take in the endless shelves, you begin to notice some of the books loosening at the spine. These are the ones that you don't need. Books built from recycled panic. Ones that repeat the same broken record message in different costume. Ones that were never really yours to begin with, but arrived anyways because the world is far too generous with doubt and anxiety. Without force or argument, absent of any scene, these books begin disintegrating, quietly crumbling. The library exhaling what doesn't belong, the same way a room settles after everyone has left. The shelves make room for something else as the air grows crisp, and somewhere in that clarity, something else arrives. Faint at first, easy to overlook. A dampness, mist, a presence in the way certain mornings carry what lingers from the night before. Traces of vanilla still there, but underneath it now is something cooler, something that traveled a long way to be here. The part of you that has been on watch now resigns to the simple fact that there's nothing to do right now. Somewhere down the hall, a clock chimes, low, resonant, and soft, as if reminding you that time can be gentle when it's not being used against you. And as you continue further, your eyes focus on the large mahogany table with a large book bound in leather. Your hands find it before you do, the leather cool and heavy, as your fingers find the edge, slipping into the small gap between the cover and first page. You feel the resistance of something that hasn't been opened in a long time. And as you pull back the cover, something unexpected. Instead of the rustling of paper, you hear a resonant, groaning creak, the sound of a ship's hull, deep, wooden, something vast and patient, flexing against a pressure it has always known how to hold. Looking down at the pages, before you can really see anything, before words or images or anything memorable to your mind, you feel the shift. Cool mist rises from the open book, the sharp taste of salt, the kind that settles on your lips without asking, coming from water that has been moving far longer than memory. The weight of the book in your hands begins to shift in density, taking on the weight of something alive, something shaped by water and time into exactly what it needs to be. It feels smooth, dense, and hard. The bark long stripped away, worn down by a patience that needs no practice. And as you realize your hands aren't holding a book anymore, that it's driftwood beneath your palms, smooth, sturdy, perfectly buoyant in a way that has more to do with what it's made of than any clever design. And the water is already holding you. It's already here, present, in a way that certain things are only present when you stop moving enough to notice. Beneath you and around you, patient, in a way that only very old things can afford to be. The spray is cool against your face, moistening your cheeks and that soft space below your ears. But beneath the coolness, beneath the place where your body meets the water, there's a surprising warmth. A deep amber glow arrives in the places that have been holding tension the longest, places that only speak through pain or tightness, beginning to release. Now you notice your buoyancy, how easily you're held, how the water holds you effortlessly, automatically, through the simple and different physics of something shaped by salt and hardened by the cold until it simply rests above the surface tension, beyond the effect of natural stress. Every season of pressure, every harvest of salt, every long stretch of exposure that felt like damage. It was all just the driftwood becoming what it becomes when it survives enough, lighter than it looks, stronger than it feels, and the water knows this. It moves against you slowly, deliberately, finding all the places that still carry the fine dust of the library. All that careful holding is now being washed away, the way a tide draws things back into itself without argument, or the need for you to release anything. The water simply takes what was never meant to stay. Beneath your warmth and the place where the wood meets the deep, there is a pulse, low, slow, felt in the chest before it's heard anywhere else. Not exactly a sound, more like the memory of a sound, the deep, resonant thrum of something vast and alive far below the surface. Something that has known its own rhythm for eons and has never once needed yours to align. And yet the gravity of that pulse finds resonance within harmony. Your breath finds the interval. Your heart beats in the space between the pulse. The part of you that's been calculating distance, tracking your position, and measuring how far you've come finally has nothing to calculate. There is no destination here. The tide doesn't issue coordinates. It simply carries, and the deep water moves consciously. You're moving at the speed of water, moving with the grain, part of the rhythm that exists everywhere. Above, the mist begins to clear, lifting gently the way fog dissipates as the temperature rises gradually, almost imperceptibly, until you realize you can see much further than you could a moment ago. The sky above, not quite as you remember, richly dark and full, the kind of darkness that holds presence rather than absence. It has weight and depth, a texture you can almost feel when you've let your eyes go soft. The sparkle of faraway stars, countless and nameless, you gaze, feeling the mere fact of their existence, just as you feel the vibration, the pulse within, your body recognizing the stars before your mind has a chance to form opinions. The water flows on, still carrying you, yet a new quality emerges in the sound of the current, the sound of open, boundless water lapping against the driftwood begins to change as you pick up on the shift, the sound changing from what was open becoming enclosed. When the echo finally has somewhere to land, you feel it before you can even explain. A subtle shift in the air pressure, the mist carrying a different density of cold, the kind of cold that comes from stone that's never been baked in sunlight, stone that has held a damp chill for longer than memory. The throbbing pulse beneath you returns from the walls around you, moving through the water, through the air, and through the place where your body and the dry driftwood cease to be two different things. You notice the water's no longer the open ocean as you move through something vast yet contained. A space so large, sound takes time to find the edges, and in the finding, it becomes something closer to music than echo. And still, you're being carried, still held, still moving with the grain as the water gently sets you down. Everything becomes still beneath you, the stillness at the very bottom of an exhale, moments before the next inhale begins. The stone beneath you, dry, cool. You feel its density through your palms, through the place where your spine meets the ground, and the soles of your feet as you begin to stand, realizing now that you are inside something held, secured inside this space, the way you're inside your own chest when you stop seeking and just listen. If there are walls, they're too far away to find. If there's a ceiling, it's simply where the darkness gets its depth. The floor beneath you is the most solid thing you've felt and longer than you can remember. Bedrock solid, made of everything that tried to move it and instead became part of it. And the pulse is here, just as it's always been. The thrum you felt in your chest out in the open water that moved through you when your body stopped having edges. It was never outside of you, always coming from here. You were just simply far enough away to perceive it as something external, the other beneath the surface of things. Here, there is no surface. This is where the pulse lives. In the darkness, you become aware of them one at a time. Blurry at first, you only sense them the way you sense a presence in the room before you turn to look. Clocks. Each one resonates at a slightly different frequency, a slightly different weight. Just as different sized bells produce different tones, some of these clocks are low and slow, felt more in the chest than heard with the ears. Others are higher, closer to the surface of sound. Some moving so slow, their interval feels less like a rhythm and more like breath. Altogether, they produce something more like music, or perhaps the sound of time becoming honest with itself, unfiltered, non-linear, pure interval. The space between one moment and the next, repeated and patient, completely indifferent to whether or not you're keeping up. And as you stand there, allowing your body to absorb this truth, the universal, harmonious pulse of honest time, you notice how the clocks keep their own pace, some slower than your heartbeat, some match perfectly, others faster, carrying the rhythm of a version of you that's still out there somewhere, scanning, tracking, still trying to arrive somewhere on time. That version of you has always been here, waiting for you to find it. In this place, each pace true simultaneously, the slow clock, the fast clock, the one that beats like a heart, all accurate, all running on time, because time isn't a single track moving in a line. It's a field, and now you're resting at its very center. One by one, the clocks begin converging, slowing, settling, like a spinning top that finds its true center as it rests, resigning to the speed that requires the least effort to maintain. And as each one settles, its frequency deepens, moving from sound into something just below the surface of vibration, felt rather than heard, joining the pulse that was already here. The space within this resonance, wider, even softer, until the intervals expand and what lives inside them stops feeling like silence and starts feeling like something else entirely. Underneath the chime and the rich vibration of bell tones, underneath the ticking, the scanning, the tracking, nameless as it's always been, predating the part of you that names. And now the last clock, finding its center, leaving a resonance behind beyond silence, a frequency without mechanism. The resonance your nervous system has been trying to locate through all the noise of every ordinary day. Pure, sourceless, ever present. Your body knows this frequency, remembering the way body holds comparison, the way it remembers warmth after cold and stillness after momentum. It knows this beyond simple recognition. It has arrived somewhere it's always been trying to return to, the place where there's nothing to do, nothing to track, solve, or hold together, just this moment, presence, this frequency, just the vast stone and the sourceless pulse of a place that's been waiting for you with a presence that's never needed to be anywhere else. Rest here in this moment, savoring it as long as you like. For a while, nothing moves because nothing is asking. You can tell by the hollow weight of your limbs, the way your skin finally agrees with the air, by the space and the stillness of relief from demands. The frequency holds, contained, sourceless, here. And then, without announcement, the air shifts. You notice the faintest coolness along your cheek, a soft dampness when you inhale, a trace of salt returning as if the deep place you're resting inside has a doorway of its own, a seam in the dark that opens only when it's ready. You catch an image passing through, warm wax dripping onto layers poured before now, patient, precise. A seal is pressed to reveal a mark, a star with spirals unfurling past the edges of the points, as if something is expanding without force. And just as it comes to focus, it begins to fade. And still, nothing is asking. The stone beneath you moistens as the water returns, a shallow pool, and then enough to lift you, carrying you like heavy curtains, moving through the vast interior. And you feel how easily your body remembers the difference between being pulled and being carried, between urgency and momentum. Nothing is asking. As the water moves with an intensity you didn't expect, taking the shape of its container, filling every crack and crevice, you are the driftwood, the resilient, light part of you, floating effortlessly because physics is honest. You feel the salty mist peeling back, revealing the low pulse beneath it all, as if the frequency no longer needs a container to echo against. And the mist thins, water evaporating the way a thought escapes your mind. An image flickers, revealing a torch-lit maze, dark stone, ancient, sacred, like somewhere that remembers every footstep. You find yourself moving seamlessly between two different bodies, two skill sets, sampling each one without staying. One glides through space with tactical precision, agile, stealthy, able to see in the dark. The other, taking up more space, moves as if gravity is merely suggestion, dropping levels, landing perfectly, opening gates that were closed and closing gates that no longer matter. And then, as your eyes adjust, the image is gone, leaving only the feeling of agency without effort. And still, nothing is asking. The water takes you further, as distance only matters when something chases. Nothing is asking. And with that, the tide loosens its hold on form, the way images loosen at the edge of sleep. How your mind stops insisting on sharp outlines. And somewhere in that softening, you notice a quiet pulse against your arm. Your mind would normally turn to make note of this, record it, pin it down, turn it to proof. No longer necessary, because nothing is asking. The scent returns, threaded through the salty air, the way memory weaves through dreams. Paper, vanilla, and that nameless thing older than memory. The mist dissipates as warmth becomes weight again. The shelves come back into focus as your eyes adjust. And you realize they never left, holding steady, containing everything that you no longer have to hold. As you move through the quiet collection of books, you notice something changed. The books are more carefully curated. The ones that shouted for your attention have gone quiet. They no longer need your pulse to keep them upright as you pass. A scene flickers, a faded prairie under a flat, serene sky. Clothesline swaying gently in the air, garments hanging in order, as if the next version of you is being carefully prepared. The line holds each, billowing in the mild breeze. Still, nothing is asking. You look back to the table, smooth, polished mahogany. Your eyes resting on the heavy book once more, now closed, as if it never needed to open, no longer tugging at your curiosity, the memory of its weight enough. And deeper in the library, between shelves you've not yet explored, you discover what's been waiting for you. A narrow bed, held in the dark alcove of 1,000 quiet lives. The library has always known what you came for. The air is cooler here. The light softens to a kind of dim that doesn't reach for your eyes. And when you lie down, it doesn't feel like collapse. It feels like the deep, silent history of this place finally receiving you. Shelves holding the entire day. Water carrying away the excess. The image just out of focus, and the faint pulse of the clocks synchronized. Nothing is asking. As deep, satisfying, restful sleep claims you of its own accord, unsummoned, yet ready. And you let the rest happen on its own, like the effortless breath coming in and going out. And if the wax drips, Let it drip. If an image arises, let it rise. Nothing is asking as you nestle into the velvety bedding beneath you, the quiet surrounding. And somewhere near and far away, the world keeps moving without your permission. Nothing is asking. And sleep comes the way it comes when it's allowed.